The shouting reached the street before anyone could see what was happening. Neighbors pressed their faces to their windows. Children froze mid-play. And then the gate of the Okafor compound burst open, and a woman came stumbling out, her wrapper half torn, her hair undone, her bare feet scraping against the hot Lagos concrete. Her name was Adaeze. And the man screaming behind her was her husband. "Get out!" Emeka Okafor's voice cracked the afternoon air like thunder. "Get out of my house and never come back." 7 years. 7 wasted years. His mother stood behind him, arms folded, face like stone. "We warned him," the old woman said, loud enough for the street to hear. "A woman who cannot produce a child is not a woman. She is a burden." Adaeze turned. Her eyes were swollen, her lips trembling. She looked at the man she had cooked for, prayed with, loved silently through 1,000 disappointments. She looked at the woman beside him, the second wife, Chioma, standing in the doorway with a satisfied smile. And then she looked at the crowd that had gathered. "If only you knew the truth," Adaeze whispered. "If only any of you knew." Then she collapsed onto the ground, and no one moved to help her. But that is not where this story begins. If you have ever been written off by someone who did not know your full story, stay with this video until the very end. And if you are new here, hit that subscribe button now, because the stories we tell on this channel will shake you, move you, and remind you that God does not forget. Adaeze Nwosu came into the Okafor family with joy in her chest and a wrapper tied tight around her hope. She was 26 years old when she married Emeka, tall, quiet, the kind of man whose calm you could mistake for strength. Her mother had danced at the introduction. Her father had slaughtered a goat. The entire Nwosu family believed she was entering a good home. And for a while, she was. Emeka was tender in those early months. He called her Nem, my mother, even before she had become one. He brought her chin-chin from the market on Saturdays. When she was sick, he stayed up. When she cried for missing her family in Anambra, he held her and said, "You are not far. I am here." His mother, Mama Okafor, was polite at first. Stiff, but polite. She taught Adaeze how Emeka liked his ofonugbu. She showed her the correct way to pound yam in their house, not too soft, not too hard. There were rules, and Adaeze learned them all without complaint. She wanted to belong. She wanted to be a good wife. She believed that if she gave enough of herself, the home would give back. The first year passed. No pregnancy. They prayed together. They visited a clinic in Surulere. The doctor said everything looked fine. "Just relax," he said. "These things take time." Adaeze believed him. Emeka nodded. They went home and continued. The second year passed. Mama Okafor stopped calling her Na. She started calling her by her full name, stiffly, Adaeze. As if reminding her that she had not yet earned a term of endearment in this family. The comments began small. A raised eyebrow at the dinner table. A whispered prayer, loud enough to be heard, asking God to open the womb of the barren. A neighbor invited for Sunday rice who said, without looking directly at Adaeze, "Some women just need to eat better. Or pray harder." Adaeze ate. She prayed. She endured. The third year, Emeka changed. It was not dramatic. It was gradual, the way a fire dies, not with a sudden gust, but slowly, coal by coal. He stopped asking how she was feeling. He stopped sitting beside her in church. He came home later. He ate quickly and went to his room. When she tried to reach for his hand, he was always busy with his phone. One evening, she sat across from him at the dining table and said softly, "Emeka, I am trying. I want you to know that. I go to the clinic. I follow everything they say. I am trying." He looked up from his food. His eyes were not cruel. They were something worse, empty. "Adaeze," he said, Trying is not the same as succeeding. She could not finish her food that night. By the 4th year, the whispers had grown into declarations. Mama Okafor no longer waited for Adaeze to leave the room. "My son deserves children," she would say, talking to her sister on the phone in the parlor, door wide open. "A man like Emeka, with land, with money, with name, he cannot carry that into the grave because one woman refused to give him an heir." "I have not refused," Adaeze said one afternoon, standing in the doorway. "I have not refused anything. My body." "Your body is the problem," Mama Okafor said flatly. "That is exactly the point." Emeka sat at the dining table, eating his EBA, and he said nothing. That silence became the loudest thing in the house. Adaeze began waking up early, before everyone else, just to have a few minutes of peace before the day pressed in on her again. She would sit in the kitchen with a cup of tea and talk to God. Not loudly. Just quietly. Just enough. "You see me," she would whisper. "Even if no one else does. You see me." It was in those early mornings that she began to notice something. A tiredness that was not from lack of sleep. A faint nausea that came and went. A sensitivity to smells she had never had before. She told no one. She was afraid to hope. She bought a test from a pharmacy 2 streets away, far enough that no one in the neighborhood would see her. She took it alone, in the bathroom, with the door locked and her heart hammering. 2 lines. She sat on the cold bathroom tile and pressed both hands to her mouth and wept, not from sadness, but from a relief so overwhelming it felt like pain. She was not broken. She had never been broken. It had just taken time. But even then, something told her to wait. Something told her to be sure before she spoke. She had seen how quickly joy could be twisted in this house. She wanted to go to the clinic first. She wanted to be certain. She made an appointment for the following week. She never made it. It was the 5th year of marriage when Emeka came home one Sunday afternoon and asked Adaeze to sit down. He was dressed well, too well for a Sunday at home. His shoes were polished. His agbada was freshly pressed. "I need to talk to you," he said. She sat. "I have taken another wife," he said. Just like that. The way you would announce a change in electricity tariff. Flat. Rehearsed. Final. Adaeze's ears rang. Her name is Chioma. She is from Owerri. She is a good woman. She will be coming to this house next month. Emeka. I have made my decision. I am your wife, she said, her voice breaking. I am still your wife. Whatever is happening with my body, it is not permanent. The doctors said. The doctors have been saying for 5 years, he said. I cannot wait any more, Adaeze. I am trying to tell you something, she said, almost standing, her hands reaching toward him. Please, just listen to me. There is nothing more to say. He stood. He picked up his keys. He left. And the words she had been holding in her chest, the 2 lines, the secret, the hope she had been protecting, stayed locked inside her like a bird in a closed fist. The day Chioma arrived, Mama Okafor hosted a small celebration. There was jollof rice, and pepper soup, and neighbors came. Women clapped and sang. Someone brought a bottle of Hennessy. No one invited Adaeze. She stood at the window of her room and watched the compound fill with people who looked happy for a reason she could not bear to name. Chioma was younger. She laughed easily. She moved through the compound like she already owned it. When Adaeze finally came outside, Chioma looked her up and down with the careful measure of a woman who has already won, and said, You must be the first wife. They told me about you. Don't worry, I have no problem with you. The women nearby giggled. Adaeze said nothing. But later that night, as she lay alone in the room that had once been hers and Emeka's, she pressed her hand flat against her stomach and felt, or imagined she felt, something impossibly faint. A flutter. A presence. Something small and real and hers. "I know you are there," she whispered. "I know." Days passed. The house shifted its axis around Chioma. Emeka ate at her table. His mother served her the bigger portions. Adaeze was given new duties, sweeping the compound, washing the cars, managing errands. One evening, Adaeze overheard Mama Okafor say to a visitor in the parlor, "Once Chioma gives us a son, we will send the first wife packing. We are just waiting for the right time. No need to keep dead weight in a living house." Adaeze stood outside that door for a long moment. Then she walked to her room, sat on the edge of her bed, and made a decision. She would go to the clinic. Tomorrow. She could not wait any longer. Whatever was happening inside her, she needed to know. And then she would decide what to do with the truth. If you are still watching this and you feel her pain in your chest right now, drop a 1 in the comments. You are not alone in this. The confrontation did not wait for tomorrow. It started over a pot of soup. Adaeze had been cooking, Mama Okafor's kitchen, Mama Okafor's rules, when Chioma walked in and announced that she was changing the evening menu. "Emeka prefers egusi," she said. "Not oaf akwu." "Emeka asked me to make this," Adaeze said quietly. "Emeka will eat what I make," Chioma said. "You are not his wife anymore." "Not really." Something snapped. Not loudly. Not violently. But it snapped. "I am still legally married to that man," Adaeze said, her voice low and steady. "And I will cook what I was asked to cook." Chioma called out into the compound, loud enough for everyone to hear. "Mama! Come and hear this woman oh!" And just like that, the house became a stage. Mama Okafor came. Then a neighbor or two. Then Emeka, drawn by the noise, still tying his wrapper. "She is disrespecting your wife," Chioma announced. "I disrespected no one," Adaeze said. "Adaeze." Emeka's voice was hard. "What is this? Ask your mother what I am still doing cooking like a house girl in a home where I am supposed to be a wife," she said. "Ask her what she said to her visitor last week. Ask all of them." "Lower your voice," Emeka said. "No." The word came out clean. Final. "No, Emeka. I will not lower my voice anymore. I have been lowering my voice for 5 years. I have been swallowing shame and calling it patience. I am your wife. And I am not Barren." The compound went quiet. Then Mama Okafor laughed. A short, sharp sound. "Not Barren. Did you hear her?" A neighbor chuckled. Chioma shook her head slowly, the way you do when you want people to see your contempt. "I am pregnant," Adaeze said. Silence. Then laughter. Real, cruel, cascading laughter. "Pregnant." Mama Okafor clapped her hands together. "After 5 years, now she is pregnant. Emeka, do you hear this woman? She wants to hold you with lies now that she sees she is being replaced." "I am not lying," Adaeze said. Her voice was trembling now, not from weakness but from the weight of standing alone against all of them. Emeka looked at her for a long moment. And in his eyes she searched for the man who used to call her Nem. She searched hard. She found nothing. "Get out," he said. "Emeka. I said get out of my house." He grabbed her arm. She pulled back. He pushed. She lost her footing on the top step of the entrance, just 2 low steps, nothing that should have mattered, and she fell. Hard. Her side hit the ground. Her stomach hit last. The crowd went quiet. Adaeze lay on the ground and did not move for a moment. Then slowly, painfully, she pressed her hand to her stomach. Something was wrong. A warmth. A wrongness she could feel before she could name it. "My child," she breathed. Not loudly. Not for anyone else. Just for the small life she had been carrying in secret, in hope, in the quiet of early mornings. My child. Emeka stood at the top of the steps. He did not come down. Mama Okafor turned and went back inside. Chioma followed. And the crowd, one by one, scattered the way crowds do when the damage is already done and they do not want to be remembered as witnesses. Adaeze lay alone on that hot Lagos ground, and she wept. Not for herself. For what had been taken from her without anyone ever knowing it existed. She did not know how long she lay there. She only knew that at some point, a shadow fell over her. Then a voice. Madam. Can you hear me? A man. Older. Well-dressed. He had been passing in a black SUV when his driver had slowed to navigate the road. He had seen her fall. His name, she would later learn, was Chief Nnamdi Adeyemi, a man who moved between Lagos and Abuja with the quiet authority of someone who did not need to announce his importance. Can you stand? He asked. She tried. She could not. He called his driver. They helped her into the car. He asked no questions that required answers. He simply said, "We will find you a doctor first." At the private hospital, the doctor confirmed what Adaeze already knew in her bones. She had been pregnant. She was no longer. The fall had done what 5 years of pressure had not managed, it had taken from her the one thing she had been holding on to. She did not cry in the hospital. She had no tears left for that place. But Chief Adeyemi stayed. He sat in the waiting room and he waited. When she came out, he looked at her with the kind of respect that people show not for your position but for your endurance, and he said, "You do not have to go back there." "I have nowhere else to go," she said. "You have somewhere," he said. "If you are willing." What followed was not magic. It was work. Chief Adeyemi's household in Abuja was large, a genuine compound of staff and structure, and he needed someone intelligent to manage it. His late wife had done that work for 30 years. Since her death, the household had lost its order. He offered Adaeze a position. Modest pay. A small room of her own. Dignity. She accepted. The first months were hard. Not because the work was beneath her, but because she was rebuilding something inside herself that had been systematically dismantled over 5 years. She had forgotten what it felt like to walk into a room and not brace for an insult. She had to relearn stillness that was not fear. She managed the household with precision. She was organized, discreet, perceptive. She noticed things, what the staff needed before they asked, what the chief preferred without being told twice, when something in the schedule needed to shift before it became a problem. He noticed her noticing. He began consulting her on small things. Then larger ones. She had a sharp mind for logistics, for people, for the kind of practical wisdom that comes from surviving what she had survived. Within a year, she was no longer just managing the house. She was sitting in on meetings with local community leaders who came to discuss the chief's development projects in Delta and Anambra states. She was drafting correspondence. She was traveling with him to Abuja and Port Harcourt as part of his official team. She read. She studied. She grew. The woman who had once crouched on a bathroom floor in Lagos holding a pregnancy test and praying no one would see, that woman was becoming someone new. Not someone harder. Someone composed. Someone who knew the exact weight of her own worth and would never again let someone else set the scale. Chief Adeyemi's family saw it too. His eldest son called her Auntie Adaeze with genuine respect. His daughter asked for her advice on matters of business. And the chief himself, a widower who had not expected to find a companion in his later years, found himself increasingly grateful that his driver had slowed on a Lagos street that afternoon. They did not rush. They were both people who had learned the cost of rushing into things. But 2 years after she arrived, he asked her quietly, respectfully, if she would consider being his wife. Not a replacement for anyone. Not a convenience. A choice. She thought about it for a long time. Then she said yes. The wedding was small by Abuja standards, which still meant over 300 guests. She wore deep burgundy oak. She walked in on her own 2 feet. She did not look behind her. She had been gone from Lagos for nearly 4 years when word reached the Okafor compound that Adaeze Nwosu, now Adaeze Adeyemi, wife of Chief Nnamdi Adeyemi, would be attending the commissioning of a new community health center in Mushin. A center that Chief Adeyemi's foundation had fully funded. The Mushin project was public news. There were announcements. There were flyers. There was going to be press. And the Okafor compound was in Mushin. Emeka heard first. Then his mother. Then Chioma. By now, the Okafor household had changed in ways that Mama Okafor would never have predicted. Chioma had not conceived in 4 years of trying. Not once. The doctors had given quiet, difficult news, complications, they said. Unlikely, they said. Emeka had spent the last year carrying the weight of a man who was beginning to understand what he had done. Business had been slow. The plot of land his father left him had a dispute attached to it that had dragged through the courts. His younger brother had moved away. His circle had thinned. And now Adaeze was coming back. Not crawling. Not begging. Coming back with guards. The day of the commissioning, the venue was a large open ground. There were canopies, a crowd, government officials, journalists with cameras, local dignitaries. Chief Adeyemi sat in the front row with his team around him. And Adaeze sat beside him. She was dressed in ivory and gold. Her hair was pinned elegantly. She wore the quiet confidence of a woman who had rebuilt herself from the inside out and knew exactly what it had cost. Emeka was in the crowd. He had come, he would later tell himself, out of curiosity. Or perhaps because some part of him had known he needed to see this. When he saw her, he stopped walking. She was not the woman he had thrown out. Or rather, she was. She was exactly that woman, only now the world could finally see what she had always been. The ceremony proceeded. Chief Adeyemi spoke briefly. Then the MC introduced Adaeze as the woman behind the foundation's community health vision, the one who had identified the need, structured the proposal, and driven the project to completion. She stood. The crowd applauded. And somewhere in the third row, Emeka's mother closed her eyes. After the ceremony, there was a reception under the main canopy. Adaeze moved through the room with ease, speaking to women from the community, thanking the doctors who would staff the center, pausing to photograph with the local government chairwoman. It was Emeka who approached her. She saw him coming from across the room. She did not panic. She did not look away. She simply waited, with the stillness of someone who has long since decided how this moment will go. Adaeze, he said. Emeka, she said. He looked older. Thinner. The shine was gone from his eyes. You look well, he said. I am well, she said. A long pause. Around them, people moved and laughed and clinked glasses, unaware. I heard, he started. Then stopped. Then started again. I heard you remarried. That you are doing great things. I am, she said simply. He swallowed. I came because I don't know why I came. He looked at his shoes for a moment. Then back at her. Did you really, that night, were you really pregnant? She said the word for him, cleanly. He flinched. Yes, she said. I was 7 weeks. I had not yet been to the clinic. I was going to tell you when I was certain. But you threw me out before I could finish the sentence. The glass in his hand trembled. The fall caused a miscarriage, she said. I lost the pregnancy that same night. The sound that came from Emeka Okafor in that moment was not a word. It was something closer to the noise a man makes when something inside him breaks, quietly, without spectacle, the way important things break. His eyes filled. "Adaeze, I didn't know, I swear I didn't." "I know you didn't," she said. Her voice was not hard. It was not warm either. It was simply honest. "You didn't know because you never gave me the chance to speak. 5 years, and you never once chose to believe me over the voice of your mother or the fear of what people would say." He was shaking his head slowly, as if trying to go back and undo something the universe had already sealed. "I'm sorry," he said. The words came out broken. "Adaeze, I am so sorry." She looked at him for a long moment. Then she said, "Emeka. You didn't just lose a wife that day. You destroyed your own future. And I truly hope you find peace with that. But that peace is no longer mine to give." She turned and walked back toward her husband, who was waiting near the entrance with that steady, unhurried patience she had come to love. He placed his hand at the small of her back. She leaned into him slightly. She did not look back. Mama Okafor had not attended the ceremony. But by evening, the story had reached her through 4 different mouths, each version more devastating than the last. The woman she had called Barren had never been barren. The child she had mocked God for withholding had been there all along. And the daughter-in-law she had thrown out like waste, that woman was now someone the newspapers would write about tomorrow. She sat in her parlor a long time that night. Alone. Chioma came in quietly and sat beside her. Neither woman spoke. There is a thing that happens to people who have been publicly broken and privately rebuilt. They begin to understand that their story was never really about the people who hurt them. It was about who they were becoming. Adaeze Adeyemi, née Nwosu, went on to expand the foundation's work across 4 states. The community health center in Mushin became a model replicated in Kano, Enugu, and Rivers. She was invited to speak at a women's economic forum in Abuja, and when they asked her to introduce herself, she said simply, "My name is Adaeze. I am a wife. I am a builder. I am a woman who was once told she had no value, and I chose to make those words a lie with my life." She and Chief Adeyemi adopted a daughter, a small girl from Enugu state whose own beginning had been difficult. They named her Chidinma. God is good. And every morning, before the house woke, Adaeze sat in her kitchen with a cup of tea and spoke quietly to God. Not from desperation anymore. Not from the bottom of a cold bathroom floor. From gratitude. "You saw me," she would whisper. "Even when no one else did. You saw me." They called her barren. They threw her out. They laughed at her when she told the truth. But today, she is more than they could ever become. If this story moved you, share it with someone who needs to hear it right now. And if you haven't subscribed yet, do it now. Hit the like button if you believe that what is meant for you cannot be taken from you, no matter who tries. Drop a comment, tell me, what would you have done in her place? We read every single one. This is your channel. And we will see you in the next story.